America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, we're short Cindy. No. She is a grandmother and she is hotter than Hades, she said right now, where that.
And it has nothing to do with babies.
And it's nothing to do with baby. Right, are there any conflicts of interest to announce for today's agenda? Good. Good. All right, consent agenda, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Okay. Discussion, corrections, all in favor? Okay, approval of minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any corrections?
Yes, I did. Hold on. I get the. Oh, sorry. I don't need that thing in blood. Because if I let go of this, the whole thing's going on. It was just an interpretation of what you said, but let me get there. Are you asking for a separate one or just the orientation?
Actually, we have this, so this would be for the organization.
Okay, sorry, I'll wait.
Okay, that's all right. All in favor? Yep. All right. All right, do I have a motion on the regular meeting minutes?
Second.
Okay, Jane, you're up.
Okay, it was, I'm looking on page 3, under the Protection Committee report. It should end after we touched, well, we asked about the animal control officer, period, and then under the ordinance committee, we made some adjustments to the short-term rental. So those are two separate committee reports, so.
You had a busy committee meeting report night.
Oh, we have so much fun.
Okay. Got those? All in favor? Thank you. So Kevin's abstaining. Okay, so quick claim deeds, none. Board of Assessors, no, good enough.
Yes, you can turn it back on.
All right.
He's over here dying.
I'm bringing rocks next time.
All right, we have town manager's report.
Alrighty, so I don't know if how many are in the room here for the informational meeting about the Mayo Mill Dam for the main DEP public session, but we will not be having that tonight as there was a publication error of the legal notice that was supposed to go out 2 weeks ago, and that has now been rescheduled for July 20th at 6:30 in the town office meeting room here. This is a required part of the main DEP application process. And John Beatty from Atlantic Salmon Federation and then Eileen Bader Hall with Nature Conservancy will be here to provide a presentation and be available for any questions you may have about the permitting process. Meeting will also be available virtually using the select board meeting link that folks use tonight. Another update for work in Kiwanis Park. Although the final findings and recommendations from the work workshop have not yet been completed, one initiative has already begun moving forward. This past Saturday, the Dover-Foxcroft Kiwanis Club hosted the first annual Summer Festival at Kiwanis Park. It was very well attended. We had a really good turnout. It was very nice to see a bunch of young families getting together, kids mingling. There was a bunch of games and had pony rides and all sorts of other, or contra dancing. So the Kiwanis Club is continuing to raise funds for planned park renovations, and I've already begun identifying and pursuing grant opportunities, and I just applied for one just past week on that. Well, we just found out about it during our call. Next item up is road construction on Route 15. Reached out to Maine DOT to ask when they will ever be done with it. Since that seems like an ongoing multi-year project. Pleasantly surprised that they are at the final phase. They've finished the finished pavement. The contractors are now tying in the driveways and completing the remaining punch list items. According to Maine DOT, the project looks like it'll be done in about 2 to 3 weeks on that. And then the last thing is the Essex Street Bridge. So we had the regional traffic engineer visit Dover-Foxcroft to review the traffic patterns on the three-way stops here due to the bridge closure. At this time, the three-way stop is going to remain a three-way stop until the project completion. Maine DOT is also planning on installing some traffic counters. They're not going to be your traditional strips across the road and you bump over them type of thing. It's more or less I don't think it's a camera, but it's a sensor on a pole or on a trailer type deal. And it's going to take counts of vehicles as well as speeds to see where the problematic areas are for folks. Cause we've had a lot of people reaching out about, hey, can we have a speed bump here and can we have a speed bump there? Because people are trying to dart around in the residential areas and it's becoming an issue, or it is an issue. And then I've actually attached some crash data that Maine DOT provided me with over the course of the last few years of the intersection without there being a three-way stop. So if anyone wants that information, just reach out to me. I can share that info as well. In landfill roads paved. Thank you, Julie, for reminding me. That was something I was like, so that's completed. That's the project finished and done with. And that is, I believe, all I have at the moment.
Question regarding Route 15.
Yes,
That will not be paved over, correct?
what you got there is what you got.
Okay. That was what
That's-
people were asking.
Yeah, that's what I was told. They're finished with the pavement.
So theoretically, it's the village's project that would
Are
go
you,
from,
which part are you talking about though?
I'm talking from FA down to West Main.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the other, going towards Bangor, because I've gotten a lot of questions about
Oh,
Bangor paving. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I'm
that
talking
part, no,
about-
that's a finished, that needs to be a finished paving on that, from my understanding. They need to go over that. 'Cause I don't think they finished the paving. Because I think it was a holiday weekend and they took off.
Okay, am I dreaming, people?
Yeah.
We're talking McDonald's,
Correct,
that,
McDonald's and
Yeah.
the Dunkin' Donuts and all that way, right?
okay.
Towards.
Could you ask that question again of that section of,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
a whole different project, but yeah,
Alright.
I'll ask,
Okay,
get clarification on that.
It looked like it was being held up for the heights.
Yeah,
okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So we do not have a public hearing tonight. So open session for the public. State your name for the record, please.
My name is Carol Boothroyd. I am the chair of the Dover-Foxcroft Climate Action Advisory Committee. We have been a committee of the town for 5 years. While I have your attention, I just want to invite any of the board members to attend one of our meetings. If you'd like to see what we're doing. We meet on the first Monday of the month, right here at 5 o'clock. I want to stress that we are an advisory committee. And as such, if an issue comes to our attention, we will look into it. We will research, we will gather information, maybe make a recommendation and or help the town take action. So the recommendation that we're bringing to the board's attention tonight is for a temporary moratorium on data center development in Dover-Foxcroft until more information about the risks and the benefits are known. If you follow the Maine legislature, you may remember that LD 307 passed the House and the Senate, and it would have done two things. One, it would have established a statewide moratorium on large-scale data centers for a period of until November 1st, 2027. Excuse me. And two, it would have set up the main data center coordination council within the Department of Energy Resources. Well, as we know, the governor vetoed that bill, but she did set up the data center council. And their meetings are public. I've been attending them, and I'm really getting a deeper understanding of all the complexities that go along with data center development. So the council right now is investigating current practices and safeguards regarding data center impacts on three areas, really: the environment, energy resources, and economic development. They will produce a report and report to the governor and to the legislature by January 29th, 2027. So the moratorium that the Climate Action Advisory Committee is recommending would place a 180-day moratorium for Dover-Foxcroft to accept applications or issue permits or other approvals for the development, construction, or operation of a data center of 10 megawatts or greater energy demand. And the moratorium that we are submitting to you states that it is a necessary and appropriate action in the best interest of residents and property owners in the town. So the main data center advisory council will produce a report on the risks and the benefits and everything that they can investigate about data centers. And we think it would be prudent for our town to have a moratorium in place until that report gives us the information that we might need to make informed decisions about land use ordinances in our town. Excuse me. The allergies are killing me. Anyway, so the Climate Action Advisory Committee is recommending that the select board use their authority as outlined in the town's charter to begin the process of adopting a moratorium for data center development in Dover-Foxcroft.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This sort of thing usually goes through the admin subcommittee of the board first, and then it goes to the full board. Cindy is the chair, but we've been communicating by email, and we're in agreement that we should meet soon. And she's even offered to do this virtually if we need to meet sooner to discuss. We have your draft, by the way, to discuss the ramifications and everything, because there are some steps that we have to actually take in doing this for it to hold legal value. Some of you might recall we did this back when the East-West Highway was coming into town. We placed that for, I think we did 3 of them. We had to keep pumping it because it was lengthy process. One, I'll just reassure you that one outgrowth of that was incorporated into the current land use ordinances, which provides us kind of a blanket protection from very large projects coming in and just steamrolling their way in. That was the way the old system was. So I wouldn't say that we're completely protected from any one thing, but we have standing protections that are in place now that were not in place before the East-West Highway. Because that's what I think freaked us out the most, was we realized we didn't have anything on the books. So the admin committee will get together. We will go over it. Carol will likely want to have a conversation with you from what you've learned so far. We do have your draft, and I think we can move on it soon. I would I would say there's nothing pending. Where we recently had an energy-based project that was canceled here in Dover because our the existing electrical infrastructure stinks. So I don't think we're top of anybody's list because they're automatically going to have to be running a lot of big lines down a long distance. That doesn't mean couldn't happen. It just means that we're probably not on the top of the list, which gives us some time. So thank you very much for bringing that to attention. We'll be in touch about the subcommittee meetings are open to the public. So they will get posted when we have one set up. Anybody else from the public? Oh, sorry.
Sydney.
Yeah, state your full name, please.
I'm Sydney Mitchell, and I am very concerned about data centers. I actually visited an elder in a senior center of 2,000 people, completely surrounded by these monstrosities. Dozens and dozens of the biggest things I've ever seen. No windows. Of course, this was Virginia, Loudoun County, very poor county, but it's near Dulles Airport. It's near all the Pentagon stuff. So I'm a little concerned about Maine just in terms of general dynamics and all that kind of stuff. We're coastal, all the rest of it. But my question that you refer to as far as the protections that we already kind of have a coverage for is if this happens, is it easy to renew another 180 days going forward?
As long as we can legitimately prove that we are actively working on it and we need more time, the answer is yes, we can extend it. What is frowned upon is people just signing it, throwing it into the inbox and just not doing anything about it. That is not defensible. You can't just have a kind of a blanket ban. You have to really show that you're trying to address whatever the moratorium states.
The thing that concerns me most about Maine is that we have water, and this is a very, very water hungry.
Well, yes.
Yeah. So it'd be convenient next to the ocean with fresh water.
Oh, we do know of a couple large projects in Maine already, but they seem to be more strategically placed from an infrastructure standpoint, which, like I said, we're on the end of a straw, and this is exactly why we need to take a look at it, because if something came in here, it would be impactful on us for sure. Not even huge mega ones. I'm even talking about somewhat more modest ones, not like the one down in Virginia you're talking about. Okay.
Ignore my shirt, this is personal. Nanette Redmond. In my life outside of working for the town, I record meetings, and the American Farm Bureau Federation annual voting members meeting is one I attend and record and transcribe. And they had one of the farmers from, I think it was New Mexico, stand up to suggest that the Farm Bureau Federation put something in their policy in the Farm Bill against the data centers, because they had one that was proposed in their town and its electricity use was going to be equal to what the entire town uses currently. So yeah, we don't have the infrastructure for that, but just it's all over the country that this is happening. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm Eric Boothroyd, and I will introduce myself as your Democratic candidate for House District 31. And I just want to echo my support for considering a moratorium on data centers. I think it's a prudent measure. It's not an outright ban. It's just that we need more information. And I think it would provide for the community a legal safety so that we don't end up being in a position that we don't want to be in. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Holly Johnson. I just moved to Dover a few months ago with my husband, and
Welcome.
thank you. My complaint seems small compared to the data centers, but we live on Pleasant Street, and I don't know if everybody drives Pleasant Street, knows Pleasant Street, but it is, in my opinion, has been being used as a pass-through instead of using Main Street. And I don't work at the time, and so I'm home a lot, and I notice a lot of things, and the traffic that goes by my house is atrocious. People are driving, I counted it in seconds, and they must be going 40 or 50 miles an hour. And most of the people are looking at their phones. There are children in this neighborhood that run up and down the road. There are animals. And I don't know what I can ask I already emailed the police department, didn't really hear anything. And so I don't know what can be done. And I'm sure there's problems like this on other streets, but this street is actually, you probably know, parallel to the main street. And so I don't know what the definition of a pass-through is, but in my opinion, it should not be a pass-through. People should not be passing through. They should not be coming through here 60 miles an hour. And most of the people, I've watched the cars, and most of them don't live there. They're passing through. We've had, at one time, there were 5 CMP trucks barrel through there. A FedEx truck went through. I don't even know how fast he was going, but I know it was over. There's no signs. There may be one at the beginning of the road, but there are no signs that say 25 miles an hour anywhere that I can see. And so I don't know whether people they can't not know, but they're ignoring it. And it's just dangerous. And like I said, there are 2 little kids in my particular neighborhood right where we are, and they're really good about looking, but they could walk, a ball can get thrown in the road. I don't want a kid to die. People need to slow down. And I don't know whether I can ask speed bumps or, there can be more signs put up. I just spent over $200 on slow down signs because, like I said, I don't want a child getting killed and someone ruining their life because they've killed a child. And it's very serious. And like I said, I'm not here long enough, so I don't know if this has to do with the bridge issue or if it happens a lot on other streets. I just know on Pleasant Street, it's really bad. And I just want to bring it. I'm sure it's been brought to people's attention before, but I'm just echoing that. And I hope there's something that can be done, or I just appreciate, or getting some feedback or something.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Pleasant Street and Layton Street are the 2 that get hammered the most by pass-through. Lincoln Street's getting a reprieve right now because a lot of it was people would go over the Essex Street Bridge and then zip down Lincoln. Well, they can't do that now. I mean, they could do it once. But, Protection Committee will take another look at it. These new movable speed bumps that's basically brand new to us. We haven't been using them before. They do seem to work. We did, we have to be careful. We can't have every single street having, a bunch of them, but certainly we are planning on being strategic about using them. So we are aware that somewhat because of the construction, but just somewhat because people just don't want to go through the only 2 traffic lights in the county. That Pleasant Street is unfairly burdened with that. Thank you.
I'm Leslie Furno. Welcome. It's nice to have new faces. And I'm just going to speak to that issue because I live on River Street. River Street is quiet this year because nobody wants to come down River Street anymore. But last year in the past, that's been very much a pass through and a very fast road. We have kids on the street as well. But the speed bump that was placed last year, the temporary, they take them out in the winter so they can plow. But the speed bump worked really well. And I don't think people hated it. I don't know. I mean, you might you weren't here then, I guess. But were you in the winter? Anyway, but I think it works really well. And I think that might be something that would be put somewhere on that road. The other thing that's changed though in the traffic pattern is the traffic light on Main Street in town is really long in the Route 15 direction.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not quite sure what's happened with the timing on that,
Because I sat through 2 cycles and everybody else was turning and moving and we were just sitting there, coming from the North Street direction. And so, it's backed up all the way to the next traffic light.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but
Something changed.
it's something, it's new.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you.
So we've been in communication with both AD Electric and Gordon's, because right now, the East Main Street, South Street intersection, Gordon still has a contract on, whereas AD Electric still has a contract on it. So basically trying to get those 2 companies to talk and get things squared away, it's been an ongoing issue for months. Unfortunately, AD Electric, they have, I think, 3 techs for the entire state.
Oh.
So depending on where they are, we could call today and they could be here this afternoon, or we could call today and they could be here in 3 weeks. So that's part of the problem we deal with them. And I know Alcina's been looking at potentially going with finding another company that might be able to be a little more prudent and faster with their response. So it is an issue that we are aware of. It's just trying to get people to come in and get on the same page has proven to be a challenge.
Is that the reason why that in the morning, the light will not turn green at all? I sat there for 15 minutes,
Which one?
the one right by True Value. The light won't turn.
Yeah, just.
Yeah.
You sit there and sit there and
Is it flashing yellow?
No.
Just go through a cycle.
Well.
If I had to guess. So it's something Elizabeth has them on speed dial at this point. So it's just a matter of,
it's usually every other morning that it will not change over.
there's also another issue that we're assuming is weather related, because every time it rains,
Yeah.
it seems to bump one of those to blinking.
Yeah.
And we've told them this over and over and over again. At some point, somebody's gonna have to go in and figure out where the water's getting in
Yeah.
to create this issue. I just don't know who it's gonna be.
Oh, my.
Jane?
And on this topic, didn't we also learn that coming from West Main into the square, some people sit there and they don't trigger the light. So you have to move up to the line, correct?
Yeah.
And don't go too far past the line though, else they
Yeah.
won't see you.
Although I will say with that, for probably the better part of 2 years, that's what they told us the problem was.
Oh.
And then this past spring, they came up. Apparently, I don't know if there's a new tech or a different tech that actually looked at it, and they did say there was a problem with the sensor as well. So they replaced the sensor. But the typical problem with that is you have to have that first car move up. And usually as soon as they move, it will trigger the sensor. It's like,
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Sam McMillan. I just became the, head of the hometown for the holidays.
Thank you
Maybe
for that.
fun stuff, that's been great. But I was told that it was a community initiative, that it wasn't part of the town didn't fund it. So we've been doing fundraising. So the committee has talked about me coming down and asking that the town pay for the Christmas tree this year out in front of the fire department. So that's why I'm here, to say, please pay for the Christmas tree. We are doing fundraising, so all the other activities can still happen, in town for the families. But we would like the town for the Christmas tree. So,
Sounds like a promotion and development.
Yes, it does.
And in the past, the trees have been donated.
Yeah.
And I believe I might have a tree for you guys this year, just for,
that-
hopefully it'll work. But yeah, it'll be a donated tree for this
Okay,
year.
perfect, thank you. Me again, I got one more
Sure.
question. And I didn't say before, again, I'm Holly Johnson. We really enjoyed being here. We really love the town. We moved here from Greenville, so it's not that much of a move, but we are enjoying being here. And one of the questions I had, and I've had since I've driven through Dover a lot, are the empty storefronts. And I'm just curious because I don't know how the permit stuff works, and are people allowed to just leave buildings with empty storefronts? Is there some sort of a fine or?
No.
There's nothing.
No, it's that whole thing about, private property rights versus the towns trying to keep uniform rules going. There are things that we can do if it's truly abandoned. We've had that happen where a window fell out and we can do action on that. But right now, there isn't anything that we can do to have things fixed up.
Because it kind of looks like parts of the Main Street are abandoned. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a welcome
not a
sight
good
to
look.
drive through the
Right.
town.
Yeah.
And there to be no, I mean, there's a lot of empty storefronts. And for, you know, I don't know how to contact the person, but I've heard different things about the person that owns the building. Maybe they start the rents off low and then people can't afford to stay. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they can't get a hold of the people that own the building. So I don't know all these things, but I mean, even if you could do something, especially temporarily for the holidays, if someone could do a pop-up shop or something. So I don't, and again, I don't know how all that works, but if there should be some ordinance that says you can't just leave especially in a business area, a storefront, because it's not gonna make people want to come to Dover to shop and do things and, you know, get the town, you know, people excited about being in the town if there's very few shops to shop.
Yeah. Fortunately, a pretty common challenge that towns have. And I've been here 30 years and seen it go up and down where everything is all occupied. And then right now we're on, obviously, just from an occupancy standpoint, we're on the downswing. So that means it can go back up again. There's nothing else from the public. We'll go to open session for the board.
I have a list, but others can go.
Stop the list.
Okay. Well, comment, the Hometown Holidays did a wonderful job last year during the holidays. I mean, that place was lit up like a Christmas tree. So there's hope. There's hope for that. With the data center, again, I think we're several steps ahead because we have a climate action committee already in place. So to me, that strengthens our position of saying, no, we're looking after it and we have a process in place in which that can happen, that sort of thing. So thank you for that. Let me see. This is a challenge for new board members, not to put you on the spot, but because you are new, I think it would be nice, not necessarily tonight, but in the future, for you to give backgrounds of yourself, as well as other boards you've been on and any goal you might have as a new member. And again, welcome on board, or sympathy, or depending on the night, it could be that. Next, just as a pre-promotion, the Recreation Committee would like to revive itself. And so again, if you're interested in that, be watching for Facebook to get a post to be a part of that activity. So that's all I had.
Could you give a little bit more information about that recreation committee?
Well, again, historically, it was a group of interested people wanting to either get activities going, that sort of thing. It broke off into FA youth sports, and then back then it was the Y. So fast forward 20 years, it's still Foxcroft youth sports, which is a specific age group in which they maintain activities for that age group. And then with the PAC, again, because those two entities, we put a big chunk of money into them.
Right.
For parts of writing those checks, we heard very little as to how is it going, what's happening, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not just kids' activities that would come under rec, but AKA the public beach. Again, we've had conversations as part of the RARC committee workshop, as far as we need to get things going, make it more walkable, blah, blah, blah. So if you'd like to be part of that, you know, again, just be mindful that I personally like to work and get stuff done and move it on and see things resolved.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good list. Anybody else? I had one thing that I wanted to mention, and now it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. It was there. It was there on the drive-in. I know it was.
That's why I-
Oh, yes, I remember now. We had we had an excellent meeting here with members of FEMA and other groups. We are in the process of redoing they're in the process of redoing all of the flood zone maps for all of Piscataquis County
Wow.
and parts of Penobscot and parts of Somerset. This is the first time since 91, 92.
Well, 1972, 1980 something.
They've done it up. This is like their first like complete redo. Computers now exist, so that's helpful. And I know Kevin wished he was here for that because they were talking all kinds of math stuff and
Yeah.
this is a great thing. It's a really involved, lengthy process that is from their checklist, it's kind of in the halfway stage right now, but in terms of the timeline, it's out for a couple more years. They were a little sad when we reminded them that the bridge is coming out. The dam is coming out. And that will happen right about the time that they're finalizing their map.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to, there's a process. We had a great discussion about the process for getting them updated. We left reassured that it won't be another 30 years before that gets fixed. But it is, our timing is likely to be right when they're already in the final stages and they can't stop and revisit because of their timeline. But they are aware of it, and it was kind of, and it was an interesting discussion. But just so you know, we're all gonna have new maps, and yeah. Okay.
And one more real quick one.
Hmm?
We do listen to folks making comments. In the past, a resident had kind of challenged the board to come up with goals. And now this might be real small, but the challenge, just so that you folks know, we electronically get our packets and then we also get a hard copy. So my challenge of the board is if you don't want a hard copy, let Julie know so that we're not quote unquote wasting paper.
Yeah, because it's actually quite a lot of paper sometimes.
Right. So if you're okay reading it online, that's working. So we don't want to have unused paper.
But I will point out that Julie's use of the micro clip is saving us a bundle. Because, I mean, there's this little clip held together like 30 pages. I'm not even sure how she managed to do that.
And I personally, I make notes, so I need to have a hard copy.
Okay. Oh, are we?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. Any adjustments to the agenda? No of any? Okay, committee reports. I do not think we have any committees.
I'll just say protection, we took July off. We'll be meeting August 6th at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yes. Okay, then on to new business. We have one item, the town manager annual salary increase approval. Before there's a motion, I'll just give the background on this. We as first the admin committee and then we as board reviewed Alcina's job performance versus or taking into consideration what we set for goals. And we came to the conclusion that she's done an excellent job. We're in the process of setting up goals for this coming year, which we wanted to wait for the new members to come on board. We've got a preliminary list that we like, but we'll all get together on that. This is the one that we've come up and have discussed, but we've got to formalize that with Alcina, and that will be the basis for evaluating her job performance this year and into next year.
So I move to approve the yearly standard pay increase for the town manager salary.
Second. Okay. All in favor? Okay, there's one signature line on here, for the select board chair, so I'm gonna sign on behalf of everybody.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunate.
Okay, so we have correspondence, open session, closing remarks for the public. For the board. Oh, wait, we have Carol in back.
A lot of appreciation for us. I just want to say we appreciate the board listening so well and responding to the residents. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one comment about the comment that was made about the downtown buildings. Some of them really are in disrepair and have been vacant a long time. Some of them are vacant but are not in disrepair or being maintained, and they're owned by different people. But the block going from the bridge, the gray buildings, going from the bridge to in the woods, they are looking for, renters to come in. So those are available to rent. And, I actually was just looking in each of them with somebody, this week, last weekend. So, I think that those are able to be rented. I think that the brick building is a problem, however.
Yeah.
And that needs to be dealt with.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Can I just make a quick note? If you have not been paying attention to the weather, we are expecting some significant and severe storms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. We are currently sitting at the bottom of a elevated tornado warning for an EF2 tornado. We're also expecting high winds and hail things of that nature. So just want to make you aware that that is the forecast for tomorrow afternoon. Plan accordingly and talk to your neighbors and pass the word along.
Yep, and I wish you had told me that yesterday before I ripped the side off of my outhouse on the camp. Just gonna blue tarp on it. Yeah, I'm expecting it's gonna have maybe one less wall as it blows through, like. Jane?
Just also, since we're talking downtown, but one thing, and since we have a nice, large group, quality group of citizens here. The issue of parking. If people could just either have conversations, get a sense of, if we could have a larger facility for parking for businesses, et cetera, but also making that balance between what's useful for a business, what's convenient for customers coming in, tourists coming in, those that are going to the movies, again, the protection committee, we've kind of started discussing, there is an ordinance quasi on the books. So we just want to hear feedback from folks. If you're seeing, oh my word, there's lots of problems, there's issues also with landlords. It's not up to the town to find tenant parking. It's up to the landlord, how do we address that sort of thing. So if you could just be thinking and chatting with businesses or neighbors or whatever, so that if you have any wonderful ideas or millions, let us know. We will take them.
Yeah, especially the millions.
Especially the million, yes.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll take the one that we like to have so much. With motion to adjourn? Yeah, motion to adjourn. Good guess. So I'll take that as a first. Please do.
Second.
That's a second. Favor? Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Did you walk or? No, I didn't.